How many of you guys have ever left a job that you really love for one reason or another and just didn't really find your place in the world? But I'm hoping that my story can kind of help you out a little bit. So this time around, this time of year always kind of gets me. 14 years ago and change, my oldest was born. I left a job that I truly loved, which is being a strength coach at the college level. I was the director. I ran the show. No, I answered really to nobody except for head coaches when they would just do annual meetings with me or biannual or triannual meetings, just based on like the nature of their sport, essentially. They'd tell me what they wanted, I'd give it to them. I'd deliver it. But on June 30th of 2011, I ceased being a strength coach. And for me, it was a very kind of a bittersweet thing. I believe I told the guys that day, I'm off to better things. And the better thing for me was to be a dad. My wife is in a different state than what I was at the time. And 10 days later, I moved to Kentucky, and 10 days later, my son's born. Now, there's a lot going on there. You don't live with your spouse. Now you got for many years, just to the nature of our jobs and her school and whatnot. And then you throw a kid on top of that, and you also find that throw now I'm working for other people in jobs that I hate. So as much as I love being a dad, it was very, very difficult for me to wrap my mind around doing jobs that I didn't particularly like. Because for me, coaching was the epitome. It was the thing I always wanted to be from the time I graduated high school, really since I was a senior in high school, was to be a coach. And now all of a sudden it was gone. And it wasn't the worst thing, but it also wasn't the best thing, particularly for my psyche. So went through about 4 years, 5 years of being a dad. And by this point we had two kids, and my my youngest one at the time, who's 11 now, he was about a year old, and I was in the last year of being an athletic director, which I loved because I got to be around the kids and watch their sport teams get better. But I had these reoccurring dreams of fucking killing myself like every night, just absolutely just fucking killing myself, and it sucked because every night they get more and more intense until finally, I was done with the job and I started a new job that maybe it was the next week after like the most vivid of the dreams that I had. Started a new job the next week that changed my entire life for the better, and that was to become a special education teacher. That year, I worked with some kids that were severely disabled and couldn't walk, couldn't talk, uh, and they were some of the happiest kids that I've ever found. And it's been very difficult for me to find people as happy as that in this world. so, um, but prior to that, I just had to. I was drilling down, like, what the fuck is the problem here? That I like, why am I so upset? And really, it was I didn't have anything to make me passionate. I didn't have anything in my life that matched the intensity or joy that coaching gave me. So one day I decided I'd write down everything that I loved about coaching, and it really came down to the personal interactions, and it came down to watching people get better at a task from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. And that was, well, I was like, well, what's similar to this? And it came down to becoming a teacher was. And so becoming a teacher, mainly with kids with special needs, kids, that have IEPs, was it because they most of them lack a severe bit of confidence. Um, and if you're there and you truly are there for them, which I am every day, I'm going into year 9, coming into this next year, I'm truly there for them because I just, first of all, kids are funny. High school kids, middle school kids, elementary kids, they're all hilarious in their own way. But high school kids to me, which is my population right now, they are absolutely hysterical to me. I remember being that age. I remember being, that type of person where, fart jokes are still funny. And yeah, they still are funny. So I'm not even going to act like they're not. But um, to kind of come full circle now, though, is the passion that I once had outside of uh, outside of high school and becoming a coach and after college and being able to go and see lots of different things. That's what I kind of get to bring to the kids now and tell them, like, if you really follow your principles and you follow the things that make you happy, then you too can be happy. And I think that's what people need to realize if they're walking away from a job that they love, is just because one door closes doesn't mean another door might not open. And it might not be the door that you expect. Because I'll tell you right now, I was about the most outspoken, say whatever's on my mind kind of guy as a coach. Honestly, it was shocking almost the time because I just wanted to see what kind of reaction I could get out of people to rattle them. And that's not who I am today. Like now, I'm much more calculated about the message to try to come across, especially to kids, because you can absolutely destroy someone with your words, or you can build them up and make them into what you want them to be. That doesn't mean you got to be a softie. You still got to be real about shit. But yeah, it's been quite a ride though. But my oldest kind of taking this message full circle. If I'd have known 14 years ago, kind of the trials and tribulations that came with walking away from coaching, walking away from a passion of mine that I loved, being at probably the lowest point of my life, 5 years later, and then now feeling like, it's not all bad. Everyone has to walk through the darkness before they can kind of see the light. Then I think that's the message I want to deliver. Is because you're walking away from something that you love doesn't mean that it's not going to manifest itself in a different way. So appreciate you listening today. If you're someone that's down on your luck, don't do what I did, which is essentially not talk to anybody about your problems. And there's a time for that. There's a time for actually reaching out to friends. But it's the one thing I wish I had done is during that time that for me that was incredibly dark. I just wish I reached out to one of my friends and just be like, look, man, I just need to talk this through because I don't know if the opportunity hadn't come along to be a special ed teacher and to work with the group of kids that I was fortunate enough to work with. I don't know if I'd be sitting here today having this conversation. So if you're someone that ever is feeling that kind of darkness, just realize that there are people out there that truly fucking love you and they care about you. But never lose hope. Have a great day.